It is week 3 of the Acme manufacturing implementation. The functional consultant has just finished configuring the company code in SPRO. She is ready to create the first vendor master record, the data that will allow Acme to raise purchase orders against their primary steel supplier. She opens the transaction, enters the vendor number, and the system stops her. Purchasing organization does not exist. She calls the project manager. He checks. The purchasing organization was never configured. The configuration is not finished. The master data cannot be created. This is one of the most common errors on SAP implementations, and it happens because the consultant did not fully understand the dependency chain. Configuration must exist before master data. Master data must exist before transactions. Break that order and the system will not let you proceed. In this final module, we are going to make sure you never make that mistake on your first project. By the end of this module, you will be able to define configuration, master, and transaction data, and explain clearly what distinguishes each. You will be able to give concrete SAP examples of each type, including transaction codes and real business objects. And you will be able to explain the dependency chain between the three and articulate what goes wrong when that chain is broken. There are 3 types of data in every SAP system. They sit in a hierarchy, a pyramid, where each layer depends on the one above it. At the top of the pyramid, configuration data. In the middle, master data. At the base, transaction data. The pyramid is also a dependency map. You cannot create master data without configuration. You cannot post transactions without master data. Think of it this way. Configuration is the rulebook. It defines how the game is played. Master data is the players, the key business objects that participate in the game. Transaction data is the match itself, the record of everything that happened. All 3 must exist. All 3 must be correct. And they must be created in the right order. This is the golden rule of every SAP project. Configuration data consists of the settings that tell SAP how to behave for a specific company. It lives in the customizing client, often a dedicated configuration client or golden client, and is managed through SAP's implementation guide, accessed via transaction SPRO. Configuration is set at the beginning of an implementation by functional consultants. Once in production, it rarely changes, and any change must go through a transport request, moving through the development, quality, and production systems in sequence. Configuration is invisible to most end users, but it controls everything. A wrong setting at this layer cascades into every transaction that follows, which is why so much project time is spent in SPRO before any data is loaded. Let us look at concrete examples. In the finance module, the company code, which represents Acme Manufacturing as a legal entity, is configuration. The chart of accounts, which defines Acme's general ledger structure, is configuration. The fiscal year variant, which sets whether Acme's financial year runs January to December or April to March, is configuration. None of these are facts about Acme's business operations. They are the rules of how Acme's operations will be recorded. In materials management, the plant, which represents Acme's Coventry factory, is configuration. The storage location within that plant is configuration. The purchasing organization, which our functional consultant forgot to set up, is configuration. In sales and distribution, the sales organization, the distribution channel, the division, all configuration. They define the legal and commercial structure through which Acme sells its products. A wrong fiscal year variant means every financial period is off by 1 month. A missing plant means no goods movements can be posted. Configuration errors cascade through every transaction that follows, which is why functional consultants spend so much time in SPRO getting it right before anything else begins. Master data represents the core business objects that a company operates with. Unlike configuration, which defines system rules, master data represents the entities that participate in business processes: the customers, the vendors, the materials, the employees, the general ledger accounts. Master data is created once and reused in thousands or millions of transactions. It is the most reused data in the system, and therefore the most dangerous when wrong. A vendor master with the wrong bank account number does not just affect one transaction. It potentially misdirects every payment made to that vendor until someone catches the error. Crucially, Every master record is created at an organizational level defined in configuration. A material master cannot be created without a plant, a storage location, and a valuation area, all of which must already exist in SPRO. Let us walk through the key master data objects in SAP. The material master created via MM01, maintained via MM02, is the central logistics object. It contains the material number, description, unit of measure, weight, volume, purchasing data, valuation data, MRP settings, and storage data. Different views of the same material are maintained by different teams. Purchasing maintains the purchasing view, warehouse maintains the storage view, finance maintains the accounting view. The material master must reference configuration, specifically a plant, a storage location, and a valuation area, all of which must exist before the master record can be created. The customer master, XD01 for central, VD01 for sales, holds customer data including payment terms, credit limit, delivery address, and sales area assignment. No sales order can be processed without it. The vendor master, MK01 for purchasing view, XK01 for central, holds all data about a supplier: name, address, bank details, payment terms, purchasing organization assignment, and the reconciliation account that links it to financial accounting. No purchase order can be raised without a valid, released vendor master. The GL account master, FS00, defines each general ledger account, account type, currency, tax category, and field status. Every financial posting in SAP references a GL account, and the account must exist in the chart of accounts first. Master data governance is a discipline in its own right. SAP's Master Data Governance tool, MDG, provides a central hub for creating and maintaining master data across the enterprise, with approval workflows, duplicate detection, data stewardship, and data quality scoring. On large SAP programs, a dedicated master data workstream runs in parallel with the functional configuration workstream, because poor master data at go-live is one of the most common causes of post-launch operational problems. One wrong vendor record can corrupt months of AP postings. Duplicate customers split credit limits. Incomplete material masters stop MRP from planning. Good master data is not an IT problem. It is a business problem that requires business ownership. Transaction data is the record of business events. Every time a user performs a business action in SAP, creating a purchase order, posting a goods receipt, raising a sales order, recording a payment, the system creates a transaction document. These documents are the operational output of the ERP. Transaction data is the largest category by volume in any live SAP system. A manufacturing company the size of Acme might create thousands of transaction documents per day. Over years, those documents accumulate into the complete financial and operational history of the business. Transaction documents are largely immutable. Once posted, most cannot be deleted, only reversed with a counter document. They carry a full audit trail. Who created the document, when, from which terminal, and what data was entered. This auditability is one of the core compliance benefits of SAP that clients value deeply. Examples by module. In MM, the purchase order, ME21N, is a transaction document. The goods receipt posted against it, MIGO, is a transaction document. The vendor invoice matched to the goods receipt, MRO, is a transaction document. Those three together form the three-way match at the heart of accounts payable, the procure-to-pay chain. In SD, the sales order, VA01, is a transaction document. The outbound delivery, VL01N, is a transaction document. The customer invoice, VF01, is a transaction document. Together they form the order-to-cash chain. Every step in these chains references both configuration and master data. A purchase order references a vendor master, which references the purchasing organization from configuration. If either the master data or the configuration is missing or incorrect, the transaction will fail. The dependency chain is enforced by the system every time without exception. The same dependency chain that governs daily operations also governs data migration in any SAP project. Migration must follow the layered order: configuration first, then master data, then transactions, exactly as the running system enforces it. Step 1. Configuration. Build and sign off all configuration, plants, company codes, account groups, sales organizations before any data load begins. Nothing else can be validated without it. Step 2. Master data. Migrate vendors, customers, materials, and GL accounts via LSMW, BOPIS, or SAP LTMC, and validate every record against the configuration that has just been signed off. Step 3. Open items and balances. Load OpenAR, OpenAP, stock balances, and work in progress as cutover transactions. Totals must reconcile back to the legacy system. Step 4. Reconcile and sign off. Finance and business owners reconcile the migrated data against legacy before go-live is approved. Any unexplained delta stops the cutover. The lesson for your first project: respect the order. Break it and the cutover will not complete. 3 data types. 1. Dependency chain. Configuration defines the system rules, company codes, plants, fiscal year variants, sales organizations, set by consultants during implementation and rarely changed thereafter. Master data defines the business objects, materials, vendors, customers, GL accounts, created once and referenced repeatedly. Transaction data records what happened, purchase orders, invoices, goods movements, sales orders, the operational history of the business. The golden rule: configuration must exist before master data, and master data must exist before transactions. SAP enforces this without exception. On your first project, this rule will save you hours of confusion and potentially prevent a go-live delay. Configuration errors are the most dangerous. They cascade silently through every transaction that follows. This is why the functional consultant's job in SPRO is so critical. This is why the basis consultant's job in managing transports is so critical. And this is why master data governance deserves its own workstream on any serious SAP program.